Good afternoon, everybody. So, as much as I didn't want to make this video, I am going to make it. I feel like it's important to do so at this point in time. I know that, the landscape of which we've all had to endure and work through has not been easy. It's been hard. It's been difficult for everybody, as much as some people would like to assume differently. It's been hard for everybody. The one thing that I do want to say is nothing is scripted that I'm saying, which as an artist developer and brand developer, I usually highly choose against this method, but I think it's important right now to just speak openly and freely about a multitude of things. One, just answering some of the questions that a lot of people have for me right now about, the landscape of the entertainment industry and what I think about it right now and how I feel it's going to go, what the future aspects of the industry are looking like. And personally, for me, I've always just kind of moved fluidly with my own thought process. And I think that anybody that's an artist developer or brand developer, no matter how big or how small, you really have to go with your own heart and your own thought process. And mine was to create the DIY movement in 2005, which essentially gave everybody the opportunity to possibly attain a major record label deal, music placement on major or indie networks, as well as independent label signing. So, why did I do it? I know a lot of people ask me that. And I did it because I grew up hard. I did a lot of bad things. I made a lot of poor choices. And then I chose to change my life up because I knew that I had a mission. I had a purpose, just like everybody has a mission and everybody has a purpose. And as long as that mission or purpose does not hurt anybody or hurt yourself, then, you go for it. And my prior mission hurt me a lot, hurt me as a person. Some of the things that I did, I wasn't proud of. And, I was gang reformed and I got a lot of help and, put myself in a position where I really had to just make a choice, right? I was at the fork of the road. What choice did you want to make? Change your life for the better or end up in prison? And I changed my life for the better. So because of where I came from, I actually, started really pursuing myself within that realm within the industry. Dealing with hip hop artists because I specialized in hip hop beats growing up in the 90s. That was music that I had resonated towards. I was also a dancer from Millennia and Debbie Reynolds and, just grew up in the hip hop scene. I'm not sure if anybody is urban by choice, but we choose to initiate a change and want to work with our urban communities usually because we know what the fight is and we know how tedious and hard it is to get anybody to really accept us or take us seriously. So that was when I went in and attained a double master's and, have big ass student loans that I have to pay off because of that. But I went and did it and worked very hard, as well as taking care of my family. And these kind of things were all by choice as a passion to push myself and to move myself forward, not really to sell myself to anybody, but to prove that I had a purpose and I could do it. So with that said, I have major credits and have worked with major acts, and starting the DIY movement for me in 2005 was a way for me to give back. But even with that said, as successful as the DIY movement was, You know, there's always diversity that you have to deal with, no matter who you are, no matter what color you are. You know, you have to deal with your own strain of diversity and oppression. And, you know, now within this particular landscape, there are a lot of people that are taking advantage of the meaning and the movement of All Lives Matter and Black Lives Matter. It's become very political, and one that I have chose to pull out on, because not necessarily of not agreeing with certain groups, but because I do not agree with any political movements being attached to groups. I know most of you know me as mixed breed myself, having blacks and whites and Latin in my family, Italians, Irish. You know, we're the whole color line here, and you know, it's very important for somebody like me to understand that I take a position where all lives matter and all lives will matter. And until all lives do matter, and we're all on an equal playing field, we will continue to see these very egregious uprisings that, you know, continue to go on and fail us all. Martin Luther King was amazing with his standstill. And this was a time where people were really slain on a regular basis because of the color of their skin, and their movement and their uprising was extremely honorable, and one that I wish that the Black Lives Matter would have adopted a little bit more, but it wasn't that. And, you know, I have a lot of mixed emotions because of what has happened in our communities. I feel as though even a lot of my personal associates have jumped on the march as a form of popularity, or a form of, you know, I better do this or I'm going to be looked poorly upon. And the fact of the matter is that it turned into a little bit of a joke, and something that was very disappointing, especially because of the way things had been handled in the past. I would have liked to have seen it take a page from that book, not so much what is happening today. So with that said, that's where I stand. All lives matter. And, you know, being a mixed breed myself, I am neutral, and I don't want to see anybody get hurt, including police officers. So I'm also for police officers, and I don't believe every police officer is bad, and I don't believe that everybody should have to pay for the mistakes of individuals. You know, we all have our own choices, and we make those choices, and we need all be held accountable for those choices individually, not make victims out of other people. So that I just kind of wanted to touch a little bit on. Clearly you don't see me, you know, dressed up and gorgeous like, you know, we all like to do when we're on media. But this is me, and this is me in the raw. And I think it's important to be raw and honest. For me as a business owner, I hire who I want to hire. No one tells me who I need to hire. No one should tell you who you need to hire. I would never want to be a black woman being hired solely for me just being black, or Mexican or white. You know, I don't follow status quo, and I don't worry necessarily the repercussions of it, because I truly believe that visualizing your core values first and hiring a team within those core values is the most important thing that you can do, not only for yourself, but your business and everybody around you. It's important to resonate well with your team, no matter what color, no matter what religion. You know, if you resonate well with your team, you have a successful enterprise. And I kind of wanted to touch a little bit on the hip hop aspect of, you know, I have a lot of people that ask me about artists and artist branding, and I will kind of delve into it for a second and then jump right off. If you are planning on attaining any type of hip hop artist development, artist branding, you know, hip hop is the #1 music identity currently. It won't stay that way in the next couple of years. Another genre will be coming up. But right now, rap, hip hop, urban music, you know, clearly if anybody's in the industry and has done any historical factual research, you do see that that is #1 in trending. I was doing it before it was trending, but I jumped on the hip hop divide to essentially change the lyrical divide aspect, to create a platform where artists and consumers could come together in a healthy manner to be able to speak on tactical issues in a way that was non-threatening, but not too religious, if you will. Something that everybody could resonate with. So within my years of development, there has been an influx of consumers that really wanted to push the envelope a little bit on what they wanted to see. And as an industry, you know, we give what consumers want or are looking for. So this is not something that we can blame our rap artists or the producers that are associated, or the artist developers or the branders that are associated, because we have also done test subjects on other rappers that were not so integral with their lyrical divide being aggressive or sexualized, and those artists did not make it. So one thing that everybody needs to understand is that we are consumer-based outfits. We give what the consumers are looking for. Even with that said, I will continue to do what I can as an artist developer, artist creator, to, you know, branch off and try to do test subjects in that manner. But if it doesn't work and the consumers don't want it, then, you know, we are doing everybody an injustice, including our hard-working artists and all of us as a team. So that's one thing I did want to bring up. And I also want to bring up the idealism between what it takes to be a hip-hop artist. Because it is #1, it's a very expensive game. As an artist developer, I do have different stages for artists. But if you cannot rise up to the occasion of stage 1 and build your team accordingly, then this is not the career for you. Artist development is not cheap. Brand development is not cheap. Working with producers is not cheap. As a producer, do not do work for free. You know, you are selling yourself out, and you're also giving artists the idealism that if somebody is not willing to do something for free, that there must be a hitch, or they must be out to get you. And no one is out to get you. And if they are, the writing is on the wall. You can do historical facts on anybody. Just do a little bit of research. But even with that said, for me, I am very fair, and I do take into account what it is that the artist needs, what it is that they're looking for, and where they're looking to go. And I will price that out accordingly. I will also have to take into consideration producer prices. I do not allow any of my team to work for free, nor do I let them price gouge. Again, we are an extremely fair outfit. But even with that said, if I bring a producer in and we are not vibing together as a team, we will not work with you. And that doesn't really matter how much money you have. If we do not vibe as a team, I have learned throughout the 23 years that I've been in this industry, it will not work. You could have $20,000, $40,000, $50,000 and hand it to me in cash, and if we don't vibe, I will not take your money. I don't do this just for money. Okay, I do this because I have a purpose. I have a message that I want to send out to the industry, that we can make, you know, money, and we can all work together in the hip hop realm, and hip hop artists and hip hop teens alike are extremely educated, and we're not the forefront of who the teams used to be. But that doesn't make us weak by any stretch of the means. Even with that said, I want everybody to know that there is no one out there that is more for you than I am, no matter who you are. Even if I couldn't work with you, or if I couldn't take you on, that does not mean that you are not golden. It doesn't mean that I am not golden. It doesn't mean that we must smear campaign each other, because that's really not what the industry should be about. And it's turned into a little bit of an escapade, of an elementary escapade. And what we all need to realize is that we are people. And even though social media and my artists, my A-list artists, you know, can receive 10,000 loves, you know, there's still the 7,000 hates. And I think that that's one thing that we really need to understand and take into account, just as individuals currently right now. What are you doing in means of social media? And what are you putting out there today that may speak in volumes, not just for your reputation, but for so many other people? Do you allow yourself to get so upset that you're spewing hate and disregard to other people because you want to be a keyboard gangster and, you know, you aren't afraid of fallout? Are you somebody that is so quiet and so self-reserved, but you have so much you want to say that you don't speak upon it and you commit suicide? Are you someone that is depressed or have the anxiety or even health conditions such as myself, which I don't speak on, but I've had a heart condition for almost 19 years now. And, you know, we are people at the end of the day. And please take that into consideration when you want to jump very quickly to make a comment or say things or spew hate or spew your ideas of what your oppression is or what you've lived through. Fact of the matter is we've all lived through our own situations, and we've all had our own trials and tribulations that us as individuals do not need to solicitate to everybody and prove to ourselves our worth or our place or our position. If we have taken a position that is our worth, if we have taken a place that is our worth, and you are worthy no matter who you are or what you do. And that's something that you need to remember, even in yourself. Even feeling the pains and upset and disgust that we are all feeling in our communities, you know, please reach out to people that love you and that are willing to support you right now, and understand that you can come to even people like me if you need to speak and support, but I will not tolerate anybody trying to gas up on me, smear campaign me, or smear campaign any of my associates. I can assure you that Capitol Records, our Capitol family, Ivory Productions, our Ivory Productions family, we are so in tune. But at the same time, there's always going to be people that have ulterior motives. Don't let that change you as a human being. Don't let that change you if you're a loving human being. And if you're not a loving human being, there's no room for you. Eventually, your karma will attack you and it will eat you alive. But for people that do have love and do spread love and do share love like myself, please understand that you are not alone and love does prevail. You don't have to be aggressive and non-tolerant or using or taking advantage of people to step up into this industry. You can purely just be yourself and the beautiful person that you are, and eventually your team will be built on those endeavors and on those core values. And if those core values resonate with you like they are who I am, then come at your girl, because I'm all about spreading love and having new associates and new clients that are within the same vibe and core value as me. I hope every single one of you are doing well and are safe during these times of COVID. I hope every single one of you that are dealing with some of the anger issues on all sides. Everybody is attacked, from Asians because of COVID-19 that are dealing with hate crimes, to whites and people being called Karen and all of these retarded, ridiculous innuendos and people laughing. And bullying is bullying, no matter who you are. You know, from people beating up whites to people beating up blacks and all of this ridiculous stuff. You have to understand it will come and it will bite you in the ass tenfold, no matter who you are or how big you think you are right now. You are never bigger than this one up above, and he will check your ass every time. So spread love, not hate, people. Okay? Do your job wholeheartedly, love wholeheartedly. And yeah, that's all I have to say. And I've got my girl here. For all the haters, eat dirt and die, trash. Ooh, ooh. Love you guys. Bye.